Hello everyone and welcome to this Excel tutorial. In this Excel tutorial, I will be going through all the aggregated functions you need to know in Excel. So here, this tutorial is actually part 2. The things I'll be covering is summing, averaging, min-max, countifs, SUMIFS, if statements, ifferrors, month-to-month, and all the most important aggregated functions that you need to know. If you haven't watched part 1, then there is a video in my YouTube channel which basically goes over all the basic things around the layout and the formatting of Excel. So I highly recommend watching part 1 first and then moving on to part 2. If you just want to do part 2, which is the aggregated functions, you can just download this file from the link I'm going to have in the description, which is going to take you to my GitHub repository, and you can download the Excel tutorial part 2. Make sure it's part 2 because part 1 it's for the one that doesn't have part is actually for part 1. Alright, so going back to Excel now, I'm going to start by showing you how to do the sums. So going to start here. First thing I want to do is that I want to add another column here, which is going to be the revenue of each account, so I can demonstrate the sum. So if you want to generate some random numbers in Excel, what you have to do is just say equals rand between, so you can see it appears here. So I just select it, and I want my bottom to be, I don't know, 4,000. Actually, I want my bottom to be 0 and my highest revenue, I want it to be 60,000. Then I close it, I click OK, and then it selected a random number. Each time I run this formula, so if I click on the formula bar and click enter, it's going to keep changing the number. So we need to copy it and paste it as a number when we finish. Now I want to apply the same thing for all the rows. But I don't want to keep typing in equals rand between and then typing 0 to how much we put, 0 to 60,000. A quicker way is either to copy this and paste it down below, so you can see automatically as I'm pasting it, it changes the number, it gets the random number. Or I can just select the first text here, the first cell, and then click here and drag it down. So bottom right and drag it all the way down here. So now I have some random numbers. So, or another way of doing it is double clicking on the bottom right. So it works again. So now I just want to copy this. So Control C and then Control V to paste it. But this time on the Control Paste here, I'm going to paste it as a number, a value, because now it's pasting it as a formula. So if we test it, if we click here, you can see it's a formula. But if I change it to be a value, so now you can see there is no formula. It's never going to change again. It's just a number, which is good. So I'm just going to manually change some of them to 0 because I do want to have some 0 revenues. So I'll manually change those two to 0. I'm going to name this as revenue. And I want to copy the format of this column to be exactly the same as this one. So what I can do, which I haven't shown in video part 1, I said I'm going to show it later, is that I can click here or anywhere where I want to copy the format, click on format pane there, and then select the cell that I want to apply the same format. So if I click on this cell, you can see that it applied the same coloring and the same size, the same dotted lines around. However, I need to manually quickly merge again and unmerge, so I get the same here. I want to add the all borders. I've shown how to do all this in part 1, by the way, if you haven't seen. And then I want to apply it everywhere. So I'm just making everything look the same. I want to make this to be dollars. So I select the dollar, and then I make the row a bit bigger. And then I need to add the filter on it. So again, I click on filter twice. So the first time it undo all the filters. The second time it added them back on. So now I have a new column called revenue. So back to the sum now. I need to demonstrate how we're going to do the sum. So this column here is we're going to name it as revenue plus, let's do the plus, opportunities. So now here on this column, again, I need to do the same formatting. I'm just going to leave it as is now, and then I'm going to change everything in one go. I want to add this column with this column together. So the way to do this is I can either press equals on this cell and then click on the first cell and then click plus on the second cell and OK, and now it added everything, these two together. So if I just select them and see the summary statistics down here, it's 107,864, which is the number we get here. Another way of doing this, so now I can just double click here and it's going to drag it down, or I can manually drag it myself. Another way of doing this is I can say equals sum, then open bracket, and then drag and select these two columns. Then close the bracket, click enter, I get exactly the same number. So there is two ways of doing it. The reason we have the sum is because if I want to do the sum of the total, so literally I want to sum all the opportunities together. So if I merge all these together and say totals, and then I need to add, okay, totals, I'll make it a bit bigger so you can see what it is. So I want to sum all the opportunities together. If I say equals, and then I manually start doing the plus, and then the plus, and then the plus, and then the plus, it's going to take me time. You see, it takes a long time. So the idea here is that we just say sum, open brackets, and we select everything in one go. Close brackets, there we go. Now I can drag the same thing on revenue, and there we go. I can drag the same thing on revenue plus ops, check it if it's correct. So if I click on the formula, I can see the range. As we can see, it selects the right range, so it's correct. Right, so we've shown the sum, so this is how we do sum. Now we want to show how do we do the average. Very important. We can do the average exactly the same way as we did the sum. So this is the average revenue plus ops. So revenue plus ops. Maybe it doesn't make too much sense to show the average of revenue and opportunities, but for the purpose of demonstrating how you can do the average, we're going to do it now. So this is the sum revenue plus ops. We can wrap the text so we can make it smaller so it fits. Right, so we click equals, and now instead of doing this number plus this number and then add it into brackets and then divide it by 2 to get the average, so, and then divide it by 2, we can quickly just say equals. So let's just test if it's correct. By the way, if I select these two and I click the summary statistics, I see the average, which is correct, the same number. I can say equals average, open bracket, and then literally select these two, and I'm good to go. Then double click, and then we have the average. Do we want to sum the average? Maybe we want to average the average. Again, this doesn't make too much sense doing it, but I'm just showing you how to do the formulas. Then we want to do the mean and the max. Mean, max, again, very easy, exactly the same way. So I'm just going to drag the column name and I'm just going to change it to mean. This is the mean and this is the max. Oops. And I just want to make everything the same size, a bit bigger. There we go. I can say equals mean and then select these two. Obviously the mean is going to select the smaller numbers of these two. So it's going to select this number, from these two it's going to select this number, and then the max is going to do the opposite, equals max. Then again we select these two and it's going to do the opposite. So maybe mean and max doesn't make too much sense when you're selecting it between the these revenue opportunities, but if I do some totals, if I do the min and max across this number just to get the maximum opportunity, so the best opportunity, there is going to make much more sense. So if I drag this down and I name this as max totals, and here I have equals the max number, so I want to get the maximum opportunity ID. Straight away we can see, we can identify the max value we have for our opportunity. So I'm just going to add the grid lines very quickly. I don't want to do this grid line, so I'm just going to merge it I don't want to do these two, so I'm just going to merge it. Right, so the next thing we want to do now is that we want to click that like button on the video and subscribe to the channel, please. We want to show the if error formula, but first we have to create some errors because we don't see any errors. Usually errors occur when we have deviation, so conversion rate or completion rate. So what we do is that we're going to insert here a new column, and we're going to name this as volume, and we will create a random number between 0 and 20 maybe. So this is going to be our volume. We want to double click this to go all the way down here. We don't want totals, and we want this to be a number now. We don't want it to be dollars, because remember, this is just the volume. We want to remove the decimal places. So what we are saying here is that 8 different products generated this amount of revenue. For here, I have 0 revenue, so I'm just going to put this down to 0. I'm trying to make the numbers look better now. So very quickly, I'm just going to copy them. Control C, and then Control V as values. So they're not going to keep changing. And I want to change this one to be to 0 because there is no revenue there. This one to be 0 because there is no revenue. And then maybe this one to be make it a bit more realistic. What am I doing? So 5, 0, 9, 20. Correct. Okay, right. So this is our volume now. And here I want to create a new column, which is going to be the average selling price per product. So what this means is that I want to divide the revenue with the volume just to see how much each of these products is worth. So I'm going to name this as ABG price per product, and this is going to be equals our revenue divided by our volume. Click enter, scroll down. There we go, we have some errors finally. So this number now, as we know, is $1, because what we are saying is that if I take these 2,000 and I times it by 16, I should get the total revenue. So we've sold 16 products that generate this amount of revenue. However, on this calculation here, because what we are saying, if I click on it, we are dividing the revenue, which is 0, with the volume, which is 0, which is an error. It can't be done. So we need to write a formula in front, which is going to be if error. So we click on the formula, we say if error, open brackets. So this is the value if it's not error, and then the value if it is error, we want to put a comma, and we want to say put 0 or an empty space. We can either do empty space. So then we close the brackets and we click enter, and now we double click here. So we're going to apply the formula in all the cells, and as you can see, it replaced it with an empty space. I'm just going to change it to 0, I think, because it should be $0. Yeah, correct. And then I just want to say this is the if error formula, and I want to add the dotted lines next to it. Oh, it changed it because I've changed. So I need to select line style, dotted lines again, click it somewhere, click on the formula bar, then select everything, and then apply it again. Because my Excel crashed, it removed all my saved options. Right. So we've shown the if error now. So we've done the if error, done mix and match. Now we need to do the count and the count A. So count, I'm just going to put this a bit further down. And what we want to say is that, let's say I want to count the total number of accounts, right? So we can see here that we have we can see the count is 9. However, I want to create a cell here which is going to have that number. Oh, they're too much big of a cells, but anyway, let me create it here. So these two, this is the count, and here is going to be the count A, which is count all. Right. So to count the number of accounts, all I have to do is click equals and then say count, open brackets, and then I put the account and all. So, and then I close the brackets, and I can see that I have 7, which is not, well, it's correct, but I can explain you why we have 7. You can see that the total number of accounts is 11. It's actually, sorry, it's 9. What am I saying? It's 9 accounts, but this is counting 7. And the reason is because count only works for numbers. So we have these two entries here, which are not classified as numbers. As you can see, they have the slash. So this 7 is only counting all the rows that don't have that are basically classified as numbers and don't have any characters in them. In order to count the characters, this is why I want to show the count A there, is because I need to say equals count A, and this A, it means count all, and then I select this here, and now I can see that I have 9 accounts. So this is the count A. Right, so the next thing I want to show now is the count if and count ifs. So assuming we want to count all the accounts that have revenue more than 30,000, let's say. So I'm going to say accounts that have rev more than 30k. Right, so the count now, count if, going to be here. Let me put this below, and then we need to say this. Right, so the formula now for the accounts that are going to be more than 30k is going to be the following. So we want to say equals count if. So we will show the if first. If is when there is only one condition, and ifs with the S is when we have 2 or more conditions. So now we only have one condition, so I want to count where the range now, my range is going to be my revenue, so I select the whole revenue up until here, comma, and then the criteria is that I want this number to be more, so you can see I put open the quotations, and then I say more than 30,000. Then I close it, and then I close the bracket, and I click enter. So as we can see, we are saying that 6 of our accounts have more than 30,000, which is obviously wrong. What have I done wrong? 30,000 count if. So this one has more. So it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it's correct. What am I saying, guys? Sorry, it's correct. I thought I put 60,000. Yeah. So if you count them now, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 accounts now that have more revenue than 30k. Now assuming I want to have more conditions, so I want to have, this is going to be the count, or actually I'm going to copy this and paste it below because I want to change. I want to have accounts more than 30k and their opportunities is going to be more than let's say 20k. So this is going to be the count ifs. So I'll put the S there, so we know it's count if. I want to remove those two, correct? And the formula now is going to be equals count ifs with S, then I open brackets. So the criteria 1 is going to be my revenue as it was before, all the way here, comma. Sorry, the range, criteria range, the range is going to be the revenue. Then the criteria for the revenue is going to be exactly the same as before. So I want it to be, I want to open quotations and say more than 30,000, comma, and now I need to repeat the same process. So my criteria range 2, now I said I need the opportunities to be more than 20k. So I select the range for the opportunities, then I put comma, and now I need the criteria for these opportunities. So I need to say more than 20,000. And now I close the brackets and I click enter. Now we can see that we went from 6 accounts that have more than 30k down to 2 accounts that they have more than 30k revenue and more than 20k opportunities, which is going to be the following. I think this is 1, this is 2. It should be more. Oh no, this is 1. The second one doesn't count because it has less than 30k in revenue. So this is 1, and I think this is the second one. It could be a third one here, but I said more than 20k, so this is why it's not counting this 20k. So if I say more and equals, can I say more equals, is gonna work? Yeah, there we go. So more and equals, now we have 3 because this one equals 20k. Right. So the next thing we want to show now is going to be, we've shown the countif and countifs. We want to show the SUMIF and SUMIFS now. So I want to create some more space. So, oops, I'm just going to push down these graphs a bit more. And I want to now do the SUMIF, which is going to be, I want to sum the revenue of all the accounts, let's say, that have more than 20,000. So I want to say accounts rev more than 20k. Right, so this is going to be the SUMIF. And I want to say equals SUMIF. Again, if is one condition, ifs it's 2 conditions. I need to put the range now. So my range is going to be the revenue. So I just select the revenue. Correct, comma, my criteria is going to be more than what we said, 20k, so 20,000. I close it, and then comma, and then the sum range now is what do I want to sum. So the first range is what do I want to check across, so I want the revenue to be more, but now I can sum the volume if I want. So if I sum the volume, just to show you how it works, and then I close it, I have 89. So 89, it literally sum this number, which is 16, because revenue is more than 20. It sum the 29,000 because, sorry, it sum the 17 because this is more than 20. It sum this one too, is more than 20, more than 20, more than 20, more than 20. So I think it sum everything, right? 89, yeah, it sum everything because all the revenue that we have, all the numbers we have is more than 20. So, so you get the idea. Maybe I should change this to more than 30. If I change this more than 30, we go down to 72 because it's gonna sum this number, this number, this number, this number, this number, and this number. So now we have 72. You can check it from the summary statistics. Sum 72, sum 72. And if I want to do the SUMIF now, so let me quickly put this down. Oops. Oh, come on. Merge. Go here. Then I'm going to copy you down here, and you're going to be SUMIFS. And I want 2 conditions. I want revenue to be more than 20k, and let's say volume, and then volume more than 10. So again, all I have to do is say equals sum if with the s now, open brackets. In this case, the first thing I want to do is put the sum range, which was in the SUMIF. The sum range was the last thing. So at the end, I was selecting what do I want to sum. But now I need to select at the beginning what do I want to sum. Do I want to sum the volume? Do I want to sum the revenue? Do I want to sum the opportunities? I don't know. In this case, I'm randomly going to select the opportunities. So I want to sum the opportunities where accounts have, so criteria range 1 is going to be where the revenue, so I select the revenue, comma, is more than, what do we say, 20,000. I'm just going to say 30,000 and change that after because everything is more than 20,000. Then comma, and then the second criteria range, I want to check the volume. I want the volume now. Then comma to be more than 10. And then close brackets, click enter, and I only have 100,000. Sorry, let me put this 30k. So we know what we're doing. I think I've changed this to 30k, right? 30k, yeah. Right, so let's identify this 100,000, which ones they are. Obviously, this one is more than 30k and this is more than 10, so it's this number. Then this is less than 30k, so it's not counting. This is more than 30k, but this number is not more than 10, so it's not counting. We need, this is more and this is more, so it's summing these two. And then I assume it's summing, this is 51, 2 is no more than 10, so it's not counting. It's counting this one because this is more than 30k and this is more than 10. So now we have 100k. You can see it on the summary statistics, 100k in the SUMIFS. Right, so we've shown the SUMIFS now. Again, you can literally change the rules as you like. And if you have any questions around it, please ask me in the comments if you want to see more examples of the SUMIFs or the Countifs, ifs or ifs with the S. Sorry, my accent is not the best. Right, so the last thing I want to show for this tutorial now is the if statement, how you use if statement with 1 or 2 or more conditions, and then some conditional format. Right, so assuming we want to select the priority opportunities, so obviously all of these are opportunities, but we only want to create a new column that is going to be called priority opportunities, priority ops, and it's basically going to have only the opportunities. It's going to be a yes or no column, and it's only going to say yes if the opportunity value is more than 30,000, and no if the opportunity value is less than 30,000. So this is the if statement. So if statement one condition, and we want to say equals if. This is very simple. It's an if, and then we say if this number is more than 30,000, comma, then say yes. Otherwise, say no. Close brackets. And then we close it, we click double click here, so it's going to go all the way down, and then we want to put it in the middle. And what we see is basically what this is saying is that this opportunity is a so this opportunity, so this ID here or this name, it is a priority opportunity because its value is more than 30k. And as you can see, the first 4 are priority opportunities and the rest are not. The reason is because we've ordered this data here. We've done the ordering, and it's sorted from largest to smallest. This is why we have all the yes at the top and then the no's at the bottom. Right, the next thing I want to show now is I want to show an if statement with 2 conditions or more. So assuming our second condition now, we wanted to have more than 30k opportunity value, but at the same time we want revenue to be not 0, because here, yes, we have an opportunity but we don't have any revenue. So what's going on there? It might be an issue. So what we want to say, again, this is priority ops plus revenue not equal to 0. So we want to say equals if, again, the same thing, if the opportunity value is more than 30,000. Whoa, what's going on? What happened? Sorry. If the opportunity value here is more than 30k, comma, unfortunately in Excel it's not like SQL where we can put an end and then put the second condition, or put an or an end again to put the third and fourth condition. We have to open a new if statement. So it's going to be an if statement within an if statement. And if you have 3 conditions, it's going to be an if statement within an if statement within an if statement. And it goes on and on and on. Right. So then we want to say, so the first condition is if we said the opportunity value is more than 30k, and the second condition, we open another if statement and we want our revenue to be more than 0. So now we have 2 conditions. If we meet both conditions, we want to say this is how shall we name this? Rev more than 30k and where is and ops. Oh, sorry. It should be ops more than 30k and rev not equal to 0. Otherwise, this is a value if false on my second if statement. I want to put it as empty. I want to close. So now, as you can see, I've closed the second if statement. So you can see the red bracket there corresponds to the red bracket there. And now I have to add another condition, because remember, I have an if statement at the beginning which says if the opportunity value is more than 30K, then move on to the second if statement. Otherwise, if it's not, if it's false, I want to put the empty space again. Then close. So now we have two conditions, and if we drag this down, you can see that this one is a total, so it doesn't count. You can see that we only have three opportunities that have both opportunities more than 30K and revenue is not 0. Right, so we've shown the if statement now. The last thing I want to show now is some conditional formatting, and we're going to be done for this video. Remember, if you feel like you get value, please click that like button and subscribe to the channel. Right, so the first condition we want to add is that we want to straight away identify the accounts that have no volume. So I select the volume, I go to conditional formatting, and I say if the volume is less than, is less than 1. So we want it to be red, which is red. I want to identify what else. Let's see, the accounts that have the highest revenue. So I want to add, so if I go to conditional formatting, I want to add a color scale just to be able to identify the accounts that have the most revenue. And I want to use, so this one is a bit messy, it has a lot of colors. I just want to use, I think this one is the best. So I'm just using green. So all I'm saying is that the highest the revenue is, the darker the green is. So you can see this account has, straight away I can see that this account has the highest revenue, but it doesn't have the highest opportunity. And another thing we want to show now is the where is the conversion, the average price per product. Again, I want to add a color scale on this one, because this is actually the most important thing. It doesn't matter if you have more revenue. It matters if you're selling less and you're making more. So this average price per product, I want to add another conditional formatting. I want to add this one, which is very obvious now that the best performing, I mean, this is by opportunity, but it's the best performing opportunity is actually this one, because it didn't make most of the money, but it only sold two very expensive products and it got most of the money. It got like most of average price per product. So again, you can see how we can use conditional formatting to quickly flash out some of the most important things in our data. Right, so this is it for the second part of the video. In the next part, I'm going to be going over VLOOKUPs and pivot tables, which is going to be, again, very important to know to use in Excel. Thanks for watching. Again, if you haven't done already, please like and subscribe my video and my channel. If you have any questions, or if there is something else you need me to cover, please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.